All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, wherever you are in this beautiful world. Welcome to our Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host, Ryan Carthage. We'll be joined shortly by my awesome partner, Mr. Benny Allen. Hope everybody's doing well today. On this beautiful Tuesday. As always, let's turn off all distractions, grab a pen and paper, let's take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. And as always, I want to start our day off by taking massive action. That action stands for accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome, centering yourself, body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trusting education, strategy, trade skills, and intuition. Imagine your trade successfully materializing, obeying your trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear, and never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. All right. So I am glad to be back in the saddle, just getting caught up on things. So today we will kind of do a review. We'll take a look at the fundamentals, see where things are, see what's happening as we await Fetcher Powell's talk speech at his final Jackson Hole symposium as Fed chair. Um, and then we'll dive into the charts and get updates on where things are overall, indices, um, our major currencies, and some stocks. So um, that's where we are. If everybody can hear me okay, drop me one in the chat, and we will get things underway. All right, perfect. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So let's slide over to trading economics. Defense stocks weigh on European equities. European equities inched higher on Tuesday. Stocks 50, Stock 600 up 0.1% on optimism around U.S. Ukraine peace talks. Donald Trump met with European leaders and President Zelensky, uh, and they pledged U.S. security guarantees to President Zelensky as part of the potential peace deal. Though details remain unclear, still defense stocks underperformed as de-escalation hopes pressured the sector. All right, so we'll take a look at some. We might look at some defense stocks this week and see where they sit. That could be an opportunity for us. But that's what things are there, and you'll see this theme throughout this morning when it comes to the fundamentals. Is everything is moving based on this right now. Euro firms, the euro held at 1.16 as markets await this week's central bankers symposium and digested Washington's talks on the ending of the Russian war in Ukraine. NATO Security General Mark Rutte called Trump's meeting with Zelensky and European leaders very successful, while Trump said he had contacted Putin to arrange a meeting with Zelensky, followed by a trilateral summit. On the monetary policy front, ECB rate expectations remain stable. Markets pricing no change in September. Um, in the U.S., traders see an 85% chance of a 25 base point cut in their meeting on September 16th and 17th. Investors are closely watching Jerome Powell's Jackson Hole speech for guidance on future U.S. monetary policy. Okay. Brent crude crude oil futures dropped towards $66 a barrel on Tuesday as traders weighed prospects of a Russia-Ukraine meeting after a summit on Monday with Ukraine President Zelensky and European leaders. Donald Trump said he called Putin, started to arrange a meeting between him and Zelensky to be followed by a trilateral summit. Zelensky described the discussions with Trump as very good. noting that they included talks on Ukraine's need for U.S. security guarantees. Any resolution to the Russia-Ukraine war would lead to an end to sanctions on Russian energy exports, right, allowing Russian crude to trade freely. Oil prices have already fallen 10% this month, pressured by tensions and rising OPEC output. Okay, so that's where we are. Potential talks of ending this war. Okay. Um, Consumer sentiment in Australia surges. Australia's Westpac Melbourne Institute Consumer Sentiment Index surged 5.7% month on month in August to 98.5, the highest since February. Sentiment was buoyed by the Reserve Bank 75 basis points of rate cuts since January, and more optimistic policy tone. Um, so a little more confidence coming out of the Australia area. Okay. Um, mm, mm, mm. Natural gas. Yes, natural gas futures fell to 281, near the lowest since November 2024, pressured by near record production and strong storage levels. Output in the lower 48 averaged 108.1 BCF so far in August, up from July record of 108. Despite hotter than usual summer, robust supply has allowed above average injections into storage, with inventories above 7% above seasonal norms and expected to keep growing. The latest EIA data showed a 56 BCF storage build for the week ending August the 8th, well above the seasonal norms. Meanwhile, LNG feed gas flows average 16.2 BCFD so far in August, up from 15.5 in July. Looking ahead, weather is expected to stay hotter than normal through August. All right, so because they have excess supply, we could see this price continue to stay on the lower end. Okay, on natural gas, so we'll take a look there as well. Indices front, U.S. stock futures were little change on Tuesday after chopping trading on Monday. S&P slipped just below flatline. The Dow lost nearly 0.1%, while the Nasdaq Composite inched up 0.3. This comes as traders monitored President Trump's meeting with Zelensky and European leaders. Trump posted about his work to put together these two meetings. Meanwhile, investors now await earnings reports from major retailers, Home Depot, Target, Walmart, which could give insight into consumer spending trends and tariff pressures. Okay. Comes from Jerome Powell at Jackson Hole later this week, along with meeting minutes from the Fed's last meeting. Will also be closely watched as investors seek clarity over the central bank's next interest rate moves. Okay. So definitely looking for clarity on central bank moves. Okay. That's going to be big there. Um, yeah. So let's keep our eyes peeled there. Okay. Over to the calendar. Today, Canada CPI, Canada CPI. Tonight we have cash rate for the New Zealand dollar. Okay. Expected to cut by 25 basis points. We'll see how that comes through. Okay. And then later this week we have CPI for the pound. Uh, Christine Lagarde speaks. FOMC members speaking. FOMC meeting minutes tomorrow, right? We'll keep our eyes there at 2 o'clock. On Thursday we have PMI coming out of the Eurozone. Unemployment claims for the dollar, Philly Fed manufacturing PMI for the dollar. Um, More from the Jackson Hole Symposium. Mm-mm-mm. And Jerome Powell speaks on Friday at the Jackson Hole Symposium, right? So we could see a relatively slower week um, from a currency perspective, as all eyes are here, right? Um, outside of the Donald Trump show. So we will continue to monitor things there. Christine Lagarde speaks again on Saturday, along with Governor Bailey, Jackson Hole Symposium. Okay, so that's where we are from a fundamental perspective. Um, Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning. How are you? Good morning, everybody.
I'm doing well, bro. How about yourself?
Oh man, doing pretty good. Doing pretty good.
Awesome,
Can't complain, man.
awesome, awesome. What's top of mind for you this week, bro?
Uh, Everybody's waiting on Jackson Hole, but he usually keeps his cards pretty close to his vest at Jackson
Hmm.
Hole. He usually doesn't give a whole lot. I think we're gonna get more from the meeting minutes um, that come out. What is that, Wednesday?
Yes.
I think we'll get more from that because I know that there wasn't 100% agreement, right? We know some members last time wanted to see a cut, and they decided to hold. So it'll be interesting to get the intel on that. I think that'll impact the market more than anything else, as everybody is starting to look for that rate cut come September. We know that there were talks before it started to creep in, regarding a possibility of 50 basis points. I think that more so came from percent. Uh, but when that PPI data came out, that kind of those prospects kind of dwindled a bit. So I think everybody's
Yeah.
starting still leaning towards at least a 25 basis point cut. And that's it, man. Other than that, it's just been herky jerky because everything the administration continues to do. You know, uh,
Yeah, for sure.
that's just I we'll see what comes with these meetings with Zelensky and everything. It just seems like we've got a president that's really just in it for himself. I mean, and that just continues to show. um, in all areas that they're creating chaos, including this Russia Ukraine war. It's just weird how everything is being handled. It's embarrassing, to be honest. Uh, but we'll see. We'll continue to see how everything plays out, man. Like just technically, with a lot of the things in the stock market that I'm looking at, things seem to be sitting pretty high. So I'm just trying to figure out what the fundamental catalyst will be for a correction soon. The market continues to defy, right? Some of
Hmm.
the norms is they seem to be shrugging off the tariff situation. We know that businesses haven't started to pass on those costs to consumers, but a lot of analysts are starting to see where that's looking like it's going to change soon. Again, we say a lot of these policy decisions are lagging, so a lot of people just sitting back like, okay, it's only a matter of when. So I've kind of been holding steady in regards to the markets as we look at all these indices are reaching all-time highs and they're getting a bit extended. So just it's been a patience game for me all year. It's paid off. I haven't traded as much volume, uh, but staying patient has really helped me you know stay above water. And I think that us really studying Ray Dalio and market cycles and things like that, it kind of gives me pause at this moment to think that there's got to be a correction coming soon. So just continuing to stay patient.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that, bro. And that's the reality of it, right? Um, It's not about how much. It's just about being patient and taking the opportunities as they come to us.
Yeah, for sure. And like for example, how was it last week? Maybe the week before. I think it was last week when uh, the Trump administration, it was at least it was out there. I can't remember the details in regards to them investing in Intel. Well, I
Last
look at
week, yeah.
yeah last week. So now I see that Intel is getting a $2 billion investment from SoftBank.
Hmm.
You see what I mean? And it's just he cut deal. Like when it comes to the terror situation, I got into a back and forth, online because they I know what it's really about, but they continue to cloud the situation. Oh, he's doing this, he's doing that for America. Well, I'm just like, well, look at his latest investment filings. There's a direct correlation between now he's banging everybody with tariffs, but for some reason he's giving concessions to people like Nvidia, other companies. But then when you look at his recent investment filings, he's up the ante in those same companies with
Mm.
his own personal investments. Like it has to be disclosed. He's disclosing it. He's giving concessions to companies that he's directly investing in.
Yeah.
Like it's corruption on an entire. It's on a whole nother level that
Whole
hasn't
nother
been
level.
seen before from any American administration that's in office.
Whole nother level.
So that those are the things that I keep a close eye on because I guess hey, if nobody's gonna step up and really call it out, I gotta look at stock circle. I gotta look at all this other stuff to see where they're putting the money.
Yeah, I mean,
Where
we got to take advantage of it, right?
yep.
Because us be, us being upset about it
No.
as individuals isn't going to change anything if the collective
Yeah.
isn't going to seek change.
Yeah. And so, at the same time, I understand the perspective, like, and this is corrupt, like this is ridiculous. But at the same time, ain't nobody the voters in November didn't step in the way. You know, you got a Congress that's not stepping in the way. So it's like I gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah, man.
So it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. It's a wild, wild space that we live in right now, bro. Wild
Yeah.
space we live in right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are asleep at the wheel and really don't get like how wild it is. Like
Yeah, we don't.
you pretty much just declared martial law on a city, you know, and just
Yep,
just keep right on rocking and rolling, right on to the next 24-hour news cycle. It's
yep.
dangerous. It's dangerous. So, but I digress. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, no doubt, bro. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, bro. Team, you guys got any questions or thoughts from a fundamental perspective? Been talking about Intel, right? You see the push to the upside since it was announced that potential investment there. No, no questions. All right, cool deal. All right, while we're on the chart, let's look at it. All right, and now that we know that's happening, right? Intel is in the $20 range. We know capital is flowing there, so opportunity to take advantage of it. I'll go back to the dollar and all those things in a minute. But right, so here we are. We've been in this range between 26, 27, and 15 ish, right? Boom. So let's actually go back to the monthly time frame. Look at this. All right. Near all time lows. Okay. Near all time lows. So we'll reset some of these levels here. This will be a monthly high. Take that out. Okay, so this is where we are on the monthly. Okay. As high as $69. Okay. So I just want to take a look at the fib on this and see if we have. Nope. All right, so they got taken out. Let's flip it. Let's continue to watch this. All right, monthly time frame. We'll see if we break this low. We probably won't because of the fundamentals behind it right now. Let's go down to the weekly. Okay. We got a resistance level here. We'll stick there for now. Okay. So we got a range here, right? Strong push to the upside. Let's see if we're able to continue to move. We're pushing into the cloud right now on the weekly time frame. Okay. Go to the daily. Daily support. Boom. Okay. So that's where we are from a support resistance perspective. Let's run a fib off the high, see where we land. Yeah, right back there. Okay. So we're looking for a breakout of consolidation here. Okay. Breakout of consolidation. We're at extremely low prices right now. Um, let's see. Benny mentioned SoftBank injects 2 billion in equity, potential U.S. government stake. Let's see, what else do we have?
Oh, you know what I read over the weekend?
Talk to me.
That they are putting tracking device in the semiconductors, the ones that's allowed to leave. They're putting tracking devices, customs is, to make sure they go where they go and not diverted to China.
Well, China also put a pause on those what was it, H2O chips from
Yeah.
Nvidia. But China also put a pause on that too.
And I believe that's
For
the
all their major
reason,
companies.
I believe that's what got everything started.
Gotcha, gotcha. It's about to get interesting from that perspective. These trade negotiations, they could they could become a bit more aggressive in the coming months. So this next 90-day pause, um, because of some of the things that China is working on and doing in the background. Um, so we could see more of that happening, and then things happen on the side or in the background. Um, so I appreciate you mentioning that. So we'll keep our eyes on that part and see what happens with these chips. There are some big deals out there that they could be impacted by that. So,
Yeah, and
and
if
some of the
anybody
large,
found violated, they're gonna get fined. Forgot how much, but yeah.
hmm mm, let's see, man. Let's see. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Um, bu- 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 bum. So that SoftBank injection makes SoftBank the sixth largest shareholder. Um, signaling external confidence in Intel's role in the U.S. semiconductor manufacturing sector, right? So more investment in U.S. chip making. Okay. Um, the U.S. Is looking to acquire roughly 10%, a 10% stake in Intel. This proposal would involve converting existing subsidies from the Chip Science Act, estimated at $8 billion, into equity, um, making the federal government one of Intel's largest shareholders. Obviously, President Trump has been actively involved in the discussions. Um, even though CEO of Intel has talked about a conflict of interest concerns. Um, so US at 10% um, shareholder at $8 billion. Let's see, from an earnings perspective, Q2 at approximately $12.9 billion, some flat year over year, modestly beating expectations. At a net loss until reported $2.9 billion net loss for the quarter. The company is implementing a sweeping cost-cutting plan, 24,000 jobs to be eliminated. It's about 15% of the global workforce by the end of the year. They're scrapping um, new factory projects. So they're scrapping new factory projects planned for Germany and Poland. Plans to reduce management by 50%. Um, and reinstitute a full office return policy for September. For Q3, their guidance anticipates revenue of 12.6 to 13.6 billion, with expected gap of 0.24. They plan an aggressive operating expense cut. They're looking to cut 17 billion in 2025 and 16 billion in 2026. And 18 billion in capital expenditures in 2025. Um, so they're making some sweeping strategic changes, right? Pushing obviously with these investments, pushing a lot more to the United States. Um, and then let's see, from a production standpoint, they continue to update the consumer tech side, notably maintaining application performance optimizer, which updates game CPUs, but focusing narrowly on current and upcoming CPUs, right? From a hardware perspective, their pipeline includes server upgrades. Uh, 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 uh. Yeah, so they're making some large changes operationally that will give them more cash to put into their U.S. Um, basically U.S. manufacturing of chip manufacturing. Okay, and with that will also come tons of tax breaks because of the CapEx spend. They're able to write off on the taxes in 2025. So when they start these projects, they're going to be able to write off the full piece of that. Um, so that will be interesting to see how that goes. Okay, so back to the chart, we're in this range, but with some of those changes, right? You see, we broke above the cloud here. With some of those changes, we can definitely see the stocks start to rise as they get their financial picture in a better space. Okay. Um, Here we are on the four, strong bullish action. We're pulling back now. We're bullish ahead on the cloud. Stochastic coming out of that buy zone. Coming out of that sell zone. Okay. Um, let's watch this and see if we're able to keep this bullish momentum. rolling. But guys, this is an opportunity here to get in, like Benny said, where the money's flowing. Okay, where the money's flowing. I'm gonna run this fib off the high and then come back to the low. Just want to see it from a larger perspective as well. All right, okay. So 382 is where we are, where we've been on that fib, but we'll run the fib off the low and we'll track these ABCD waves coming off the low here. Um, and we'll look to watch this move to the upside. Okay. So down we got a 50, just shy of 50% retracement here. Let's see if we can get another slight push lower, right, to come down into the zone here. Okay. Um, and then let's look for this move to the upside. Oh, if we're able to break this 27.57, we'll be in for a ride. All right. So definitely let's take a look at entry opportunities on Intel and follow the money. Okay. Let's follow the money. So that's Intel. Any questions from a technical perspective?
Nope.
No. All right. So that's that. On the DXY, 80-20 played out. This is on the 4 and got a 6786 retracement. Boom. All right. So let's see if the dollar turns around. We got a lot of news happening this week. Meeting minutes. Jerome Powell speaking. Uh, let's see what happens here. Okay, see if we get the dollar to gain some strength, or do we continue to tail off? Okay, I'll come back to the daily. Take a look here. Let's continue to watch this here and see where things go. Got a 50% retracement here. Kind of range bound a bit. Okay, so let's continue to monitor. We're able to break this 12,610 level, right? Do we continue that move down to get to the D extension? Okay. So that's where you're on the DXY. Range bound here, looking for a breakout in one direction or the other. Okay. Um, let's go S&P 500. As Ben was talking about, a lot of our indices are sitting extremely high. Okay. We got a monthly extension here, which is out of the way for now, right? 74.13, but no retracement here, right? And we're pushing to the D extension at 65, but that number we've been waiting on. We're just shy of it, just shy of 6,500. So trying to get to the 65.17 D extension on the daily time frame, extremely high. So looking at what can cause this retracement to come. Down on our 4. Make sure I can go back. There we go. So down on our 4. All right, that's a D extension on the daily, the red line there. And push into this 118, 127 zone and get things to align here for potential retracement to come there. Okay. So let's watch this zone and see what happens. Okay. Let's watch this area and see what happens. Boom. Okay. So that's where you're on the 4, done on the 1. Similar story. 236 retracement, 118, 127 zone. All right, so we got a daily D extension, 4 hour 80-20, 1 hour 80-20 potential here. Let's see if we can get some alignment there on all 3 levels. Okay. Let's see if we can get that alignment. We got a stochastic in the cells on there. From a weekly time frame perspective, we don't have much, right? Because we haven't gotten a swing high to form yet on any at any point. So we're waiting on that to occur so that we can get a new AB boundary to form there. Okay, so on the weekly time frame, we don't have anything there. Okay, on the monthly time frame, right? That's where we sit here. Okay, we got this pushed down. We're running to the upside. We'll see. This will be interesting to see because technically the swing low didn't, I mean, that swing high didn't form until this candle closed. So technically, we could potentially see an 80-20 form here. Okay. So let's watch and see because technically that would be an 80-20 if we push into this zone here. So that'd be interesting, Benny. If we get that action off of this strong move off that April move down, if we get a retracement out of this 118, 127 zone here.
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing that too, man. Like I said, his stuff is getting pretty high too, where it's like I don't necessarily want to take a buy position right now, despite the market continuing to defy the odds at this moment.
Yeah,
So I'm just kind of staying patient, been passing up those moves.
yeah. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm not taking any long positions either. Um, but definitely curious to see if we get that if that monthly turns into an 80-20 as well because of that action. Yeah. So let's see. Um, let's see how things go. All right. Any questions on the S&P? Nope. All right. Cool deal. Um, take a look at oil and its moves. We got an overview of the stock market. Oil continuing to rumble to the downside. I'm gonna come all the way back to the monthly. Um, yeah, I took that out. Okay. So monthly time frame. We got a 382. And from the looks of it, we're heading down, right? The extension on the monthly is at $30 or $33. That's also a support level. um, mm, 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 mm. So I'm interested to see how these things go, right? As we move into fall, winter time. Could we continue this trek to the downside, getting to this $33 level, right? Previously, I was bullish on oil, but we continue to press down. We got a 382 here on the monthly. We continue to push to the downside. Let's go to the weekly. Weekly, we just tapped that 382 there, and then we moved back down. So We could be being for this move to continue to go to the downside here, right? We're staying below the cloud. Fundamentally, nothing has shifted to really to a bullish perspective. We have the geopolitical things in the background, but oversupply, potential removal of sanctions in Russia, if these peace talks continue to go. So as we continue to take out these levels, we could continue to move to the downside. So 46 is the next level. $46 here on the weekly is the next extension level. And then $33 is the monthly. So we could be in for a continuation to the downside here. Um, my bias on this one is shifting south. Um, so this is where we have that new AB boundary. Boom, 50% retracement. Yeah, this all lines up for this monthly extension here on the daily, right? 31.19. So we could be headed down here, guys. So let's continue to monitor the fundamentals on it. But we could be in for that move down. Give me 1 second, everybody. All right, so that's excuse me. So that's on our daily. All right, 50% retracement, matching extension 31. So let's look for oil to continue to head to the downside. We broke back below the cloud here, right? We're bearish ahead. So we'll see if we're able to break the $62 if we are. My bias has changed on this one. Yep, looking for shorts. As we continue to move down, here's our shorter term fib, just shy of a 50% retracement, matching extension $55. Okay, so we'll watch for a break and retest of the $62 level, and then we'll see if we can get price to continue to move to the downside there. Okay, and down on the one, that's where you are there. Okay, so looking for moves, continuations to the downside. We got a 382 push there. All signs are pointing down on oil. Questions here? No. Cool deal. Natural gas. All of those higher levels at some point will be in play. However, took that out. This is where on natural gas. We got 382, just shy of 50%. 253 is our target. 253 is our target, right? And we could even push back down to a 222, okay, as we head into the winter time. If though negotiations with Russia continue, right, you could also see easing of natural gas flows into Europe, right? Because Europe moved off of Russian natural gas as well when this war started, right? So we could see that lift also, right? And that could also aid in some of the national security talk as well when it comes to energy production. So that's where we're on a daily time frame, right? Looking for price continue to move to the downside there. Come down to the 4, run the fib off the high. We've got an 80-20 here. Let's see if we get a high price to get back short. Shallow retracement 118, 127 zone, right? So looking for retracements and continuations. Let's see if we get a retracement to come here. And then a continuation down. Expectations for weather, right? Warmer than average on the season is expected. So with that, we could see a rise in that uh, natural gas use. So we could see this retracement come there. So let's watch that there. 80-20 on the 4 on natural gas. All right, we'll come down to the 1, 80-20 here as well. All right, so we got 80-20 opportunity. Let's look. We broke the cloud. We pulled back. We're range bound now. This could be a short-term opportunity here. 80-20 here. Let's look to play to the 382. Like so. You entered this on the pullback, Joy?
Yeah.
Great
On
work.
my Darwin, I got in at 2956.
Great work. Just for 7 in the chat for Joy.
Waiting on them pullbacks, B. Ooh.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So you said 22896?
2956.
2956. So you're short on this or you long?
Long.
Okay. Great work. Great work. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so this one I'm just gonna look to play this one to that 382 level. Um yeah, just gonna look to play that one to that 382 level. Because we could see more downward pressure there. So as price gets up there, let's monitor things.
Yeah, I'm just going off of history because I did my ChatGPT night last week, and it's it was given neutral to if it breaks beyond the consolidation bears the what's the name or bullish. But it did say something that I kind of disagreed with because last year when things got shut down, we was full dovish. We was full dove. But this time, I guess I'm not understand why they see more bear if it do hit if storms take out stuff, it would if it do become bullish. I don't agree with that due to previous actions in the past from last year.
Yeah, so I think part of it is just that supply piece and these negotiations with Russia and Ukraine. I think they see just a positive tone there. Um, and that would cause for additional supply to be available. Um, so I think at least in the short to midterm, that could be the reason for that. Um, and then as we move into the wintertime, we could see that shift because of a higher demand with the cold and things like that, um, along with some of those other pieces coming online. So that's my thought, at least in the short term. So let's watch and see. Let's watch and see. So that's natural gas. We got I haven't marked this one up yet, but consumer staples. Um, mm, 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 mm. Um, Home Depot. I haven't marked this one up yet, but they got earnings coming. I want to take a look, see where they are. I'll do a markup on it and see what might be there. And this is long-term perspective. Home Depot is also a dividend play, right? So this could be one to add to your portfolio for the long term, um, from a dividend perspective. Okay. But boom, we got our support levels in here. And you see we kind of top of the range, bottom of the range, top of the range, still hovering there. We got stochastic in the buy zone on the monthly time frame. Okay. So that's where we are. Along with everything else, things are sitting. Look at that. 8-6 retracement. We're just shy of the extension on the monthly, right? We're just shy there, pushing back to the upside. So cool that works. So we got, I'm going to mark this out here. I don't know why we just froze. So that's our monthly extension there. Oops. Okay. Pull these fibs off. Come down to the weekly. Weekly support levels. Boom. Mm. Weekly resistance. Took all of those out. So we got an 8-6 retracement here also. Zoom in on this. 8-6 retracement. Matching extension on the weekly time frame is there. All right, so we got a monthly extension, got our weekly extension. Boom. Now down to the daily. Stochastic in the sell zone on the weekly, so we could see a pullback come. We'll look on the lower time frames, could see a pullback and then a continuation to the upside. So let's watch that there. Down on the daily, let's see. Port. Got a swing high there, so level of resistance. Boom. Okay. That's where we are. Support resistance on the daily. I'm gonna run these fibs off the low here. And all of those got taken out. Boom. So AB boundary on the daily, stochastic in the sell zone. All right. So let's watch these earnings. Earnings could give us that pullback that we need. See a nice cloud break, retest, continuation. Let's look for this pullback here into the zone. Retest previous highs here potentially. Okay. 50% or deeper is what I'm looking at here with the retest there. Could push that 618 level. Maybe again retest this 366 range. But let's look for that deep retracement here. And you see just we've gotten those deep retracements to come in these previous cycles. Okay. So let's look for the deep retracement there and a buying opportunity to continue to that weekly extension. Yes. Boom. So that's on the daily time frame. Okay. 366 is that the ideal target there for a buy on for me on the daily time frame. Boom, look at that. 80-20. 80-20. That set us up perfectly for it, right? Set us up perfectly. 80-20 to the downside. Let's see if we get this to continue to play out. Boom. And then look for that buying opportunity. There's the play. And that puts us right in that zone, the 366 level. Boom. Boom. All right. And then that sets us up for the C to D move. Okay. 80-20 on Home Depot. On the 1 hour, same story. Same story. Right. So there you go. There you go. Questions on Home Depot? No. Questions on anything that we discussed this morning? Yep, definitely. Definitely setting the alarm. All right, good people. Benny, anything before we wrap it up, bro?
No, sir. Great session.
Appreciate you, bro. All right, everybody. Have a phenomenal Tuesday. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Premier session. Talk then. Peace.